Hello, and welcome to my channel on inclusive project management and leadership. In the video you're about to watch, we will present one of the speeches from the annual conference on leadership, which is held in Uppsala, Sweden every year. And this year, 2024, it was held on the 5th of September. So in this speech, Angelina Michail, the head of HR headquarters of Europe and also Switzerland of the global company Ecolab, will talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion as a business case. And the example will be the company she is working for, Ecolab. So enjoy.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to work again with Jenny and Mir Academy. We've done wonderful things together, and Vanna and everyone in the room. Today, I had in mind an approach talking about diversity and inclusion, and keeping in mind business, right? So always a big discussion. Are they two different things? Can we talk business, but also take in mind diversity? And that's kind of what I want to bring in the discussion in the room today, and maybe some takeaways. So I will be debating this a bit, discussing about really what is D&I, the business case of diversity, and then have a think in the room on what can you do in your respective realities to promote D&I. So I had a super introduction from Jenny. I just always want to use something visual, not just to make things more fun, but also keeping diversity and inclusion in mind. Some people may understand information better when they hear it. Some other are visual types. So that's me in a nutshell. I've been with Ecolab for 10 years. Ecolab is a global leader in the sector of hygiene. Chemical manufacturing of hygiene products, just to give you an idea. And I started my career in Greece, where I come from. I'm currently leading the European headquarters in Switzerland, Zurich. And as you can see, I love traveling. Now I put Sweden in my list for sure, and coming back. And I was the first person to run D&I a couple of years ago and organize the diversity, equity, and inclusion function. This is how we started collaborating. So something we have come up as a motto in Ecolab, and we use as HR department with our leaders, is really grow talent to grow business. Because this is the beginning of the debate that I was talking about. Sometimes, especially from our salespeople, we hear, I don't have time for this. This is something theoretical. They cannot understand, get a grasp of it. I need to bring the numbers. But really, who brings the numbers? It's people, right? It's the teams, the sales teams, everyone doing their job in a harmonious way. So if you don't invest, if you don't grow your talent, if you don't make sure you have the right talent, and we'll discuss what that is, then probably your business will not grow very much. So a shift that has to happen in everyone's mind, from whatever the role is in their daily lives, is that talent, so our people, is actually an asset. And I'm not saying resource, human resources, I'm not saying a number, or an asset, something that is valuable. And since we're talking business, and we have to adapt a bit also to the business language, what is the favorite language of business? Numbers, right? Figures.
I was going to say money, but
Yes, money, exactly. Thank you, exactly, money. So I'm thinking, let's start this with some fun. So talking about money, what would you spend, if let's imagine you had 56 million euros? Great day today, sunny day. Right? So, and do you have any idea? Quit my job, never work again. The first idea. Okay, then let's say we do that, and how would we spend that? We could, 56 million euros could buy us? An island in the Maldives with some staff villas, not bad, eh? Good. A super yacht and a super yacht, sorry, it's not either or, and a super yacht to get there, to go around, and also a private jet, maybe a used one. This is not the biggest one, it's a used one, not too. So good. So we understand the value, really, the proportion. So also 56 million euros is the total cost of new employee base salary per year in Europe. Like we have 10,000 employees, right? So including graduate and interns programs. So all kinds, from executives really to young interns. So if we think that who we hire, who brings the results, actually is this cost or this asset, as I'd like to say, for the company, then people will start to pay attention and say, okay, so I really need to make sure I have the right team, that I invest in my team, and that I keep this asset growing, which is my talent, and so on. So this is a very, and you can use this analogy, I think, very easily when you're talking with people who are not easily grasping why we need to invest in the right people, in diversity, and so on. But there's more numbers that we will see. It will not be just numbers. So just as we start to talk about diversity and inclusion, I wanted to make sure first that we address what is today's work environment, and that we're having this conversation, and then what is D&I. So today's workplace has some big trends. One of it is diversity, equity, inclusion. It's part of the discussion, thankfully, in more organizations of different sizes, part of the social discussion as well. Sustainability, a lot. Then I think this fits in well with Vanna's presentation, the soft skills gap. And actually, there have been studies, I was thinking about that when I heard you speak, that are confirmed that the younger generations who did not have a physical workplace because of like the long 2-3 years of the pandemic, they are behind in developing these social skills, right? So inclusion, empathy is one of them. Then technological changes, AI. Of course, we need to train it more, and what it means for work, like remote, hybrid. The multi-generational workforce, I think it's a quite unique era that we live in, that we have actually 5 generations in the workplace. The boomers are slowly retiring, and then what is coming is Gen A. This is called the next generation after YZ, that is now in the last years of school and is going to enter university. And actually, there was a big discussion about companies wanting to engage early, as early as possible, and earlier than ever, we have seen, with talent, young talent. So even addressing somehow going to schools, like to people who are going to study in the university, and trying to, let's say, engage with this talent pool already. Then we have seen, because free talent move has always been in the past years like a big leverage. Now we are seeing some restrictions, for example, the UK, right? My colleague from the UK needs a visa passport on their passport to travel. And then I see it as well in the headquarters that I cannot freely hire people any longer from around the world. So this is a consideration of talent pool limitations and then diversity, right? And I think the underlying theme of the last years is that we do live in a VUCA world. For anyone who is not familiar, I'm sure you can. It's the volatile, constantly volatile and changing environment. And we have been from one, let's say, crisis to another, like from COVID to the war and etc. So this is today's workplace that we need to take in mind where we're talking about D&I and business strategy. As I said, I did want to spend a couple of minutes on what is D&I, because everybody has another definition in their mind. They might know something, but let's just have a common understanding in the room, let's say, to facilitate the discussion. So diversity is really the presence of differences, how we are different, what unique elements we bring, and we will see that in a separate slide. Equity is different from equality. And you can see it very well in this graphic representation here. So equity is about providing everyone, making sure that everyone has the same opportunity, has the same access. And you can see that with the fruit, right? So this person needs a different, let's say, stool to be able to reach. So making sure we have equal access, equal opportunities. Then inclusion, I really like this graph from the different things that I've seen, because it shows, of course, the obvious, like the separation, that is the exclusion stage. Then the segregation, like us and the others. The integration, okay, we are in the same group, but really inclusion is like being one group. So you don't make any contrast between differences. So. Then I really like this definition, and maybe some of you have heard it because this analogy has been very popular. It's from Werner Myers, one of my favorite thought leaders in D&I. So diversity is being invited to the party, but inclusion is being asked to dance. And some people have actually taken it further, saying true inclusion would be making sure you have accessibility so that everybody can actually come to that party, or you ask for your guests for their music preferences, right, to make the playlist. But I think it's an easy analogy to remember. So diversity. Diversity is really uniqueness. That would be my favorite approach to it, because not one single person is the same on this earth. So it's really how we are unique, what unique strengths and capabilities we bring to the workplace, to our everyday lives, to the society. So valuing this difference fosters stronger business and team results. You can understand why, and we will talk about that later. And these differences can be from the very obvious ones, that with one look everybody can understand, let's say how I look, my age, where I come from, my ethnic background, and so on. But they can be more subtle, like neurodiversity, what is my value system, my religion, my hair type, my family dynamics even, right? So why companies, why businesses should focus on diversity and inclusion? For us, it's easy, and I guess I have not heard anything different from any other, let's say, business, that they want to be able to have the best people, right? The best talent. So in order to have this best talent and deliver on the purpose, on the numbers, then they need to make sure they have access to the correct talent pool, to everyone. So diversity comes into play. And I will show specific examples why, for example, for Ecolab, this is important for the business. So companies with a strong D&I foundation, and what do we mean by the D&I foundation is that they have diversity in management. It can be that, let's say, we looked, and I can share this anecdote a bit with you. We were looking, when we were starting our diversity efforts in Ecolab, our European Management Committee. It was all above middle age white males. So not very diverse. So having diversity in management, who takes the decisions, right, and who is the role model in the company, and then having a positive climate, meaning that everybody can express themselves safely at work. Have some bias education with your first line managers and within the company, because everybody is meaning well. Bias is not something bad because someone is bad. It's because it's just our brains are wired, and it's like it helps us. It's a method of the brain to help us navigate reality. But as more conscious we become of that process, then we can really identify and eliminate biases. So companies that really are advocating and educating their staff on bias. And then, of course, they do have a strategy that is not one size fits all, something that is meaningful for them, and they have communicated it to everyone. So everybody knows what action is being taken and where we want to go. So these companies that have this kind of foundation Um, this results to more innovation and growth, more insights into customer needs, and then as a result, here come the numbers. Of course, there are better stock returns, the sales numbers are better, then they have a bigger and more diverse customer base, and an increased profitability as well, so the bottom line, really. And it was funny, and it's good for, so good for teams, good for business. And here is a collab anecdote. We have different businesses. We're a B2B company, and one of them, the traditional and big businesses, is serving what we call the HoReCa industry, right? Providing hygiene and disinfection solutions to hotels, restaurants, catering, and so on. So big business in North America, and I remember one of our senior leaders coming back and saying, you know, our customers are not the same anymore. Society is changing. And we have this same model prototype of the sales representative, going to our customers. So this is really, we're outdated. So actually the sales force and the company should adapt to customers and society. So let's say the approach that has been taken is that we do have a compelling case. D&I is a compelling case, and we share it. Like we said in the beginning, that's what companies need to do. Then we insist on an inclusive culture, and then there is the buy-in from the top. So the leaders are endorsing this culture. And then, of course, that we really build diverse teams, meaning recruitment, promotion, investment in people. Because really we do believe that the best teams are diverse and inclusive. And there, I can share an example, because we actually, our business is chemistry, right? So we have a strong R&D and innovation center. Do you think we would have been able to really address the COVID pandemic with the same solutions, for example, we traditionally had? I mean, it was, and it's our sector, right? Hygiene and disinfection is the company's specialty. But and that's when we saw the value of really having a diverse team everywhere, but also in the essence of the core business, right? Of Ecolab, the manufacturing, the chemistry behind, and the solutions. So really having a diverse team can really solve diverse business problems and real problems. And then diversity is reflected in our people strategy, which is part of the business strategy, everywhere, starting from how you really attract people. So what kind of salaries and what kind of rewards do you give? Do you give inclusive practices, for example, for parents returning back to work? How transparent and diligent you are with your talent reviews, making sure that the less visible people get an opportunity to be reviewed and maybe you're not missing out. Then, of course, your sourcing and recruiting, making sure that you are attracting balanced candidate lists, making sure you engage those people, and this is how we retain people, right? How we keep them in the company. Fair performance management, also educating managers on bias, career development opportunities, and of course, making sure we're compliant now with the pay equity, the European Pay Equity Act, and I think Sweden is one of the first to adapt to it. This becomes also transparent to the world that you are compliant and paying your people fairly. And then just to give you an idea, when we talk about diversity, because I think it was a big picture, how we translate it into concrete strategy, we said, of course, in the epicenter, we want the inclusive culture that touches everything. And for us, it was meaningful to have gender equity, because a manufacturing environment, you can understand maybe gender equity was not at the level we would like. So we started with that, but we didn't stop, and we widened the area. In some European countries, it's not legal to track some of those aspects, in some other it is. But regardless of tracking and making it a numbers game, we said we want to incorporate all these dimensions. And that's about it. Hi. And I'm finishing with actually an action takeaway for you to have a think. What can you do to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in your everyday environments, be it the business environment, be it like a social environment, and so on. So that would be my call to action, let's say, from our exchange today.